This book is making $6,499 per month and it was published on Amazon KDP. And in this video I'm going to be showing you how you can make a book like this very easily and for free. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is just have a look at this particular book in a little bit more detail. If we have a look down here, we can see that it's got 414 pages and it's an 8x5x11 book. Now, another thing that I just want to draw your attention to is, although this book was published in 2022, we can see that it's got a cover there for 2025. So what this publisher is actually doing is every year just updating the book cover to make it current, to keep the sales coming in. So there's a little tip for you, okay? So let's just pull this down. What we can see here is that each particular word search has 40 words to find, which means that the whole book has 4,000 words to find, and that's what it's advertising on the front. So let's just pull this down a little bit further. We can see that the bestsellers rank for this book is 769 in books. So if we pop over to tckpublishing.com and we put in the bestsellers rank of 769 in books, we can see that the sales that this book is doing is 2,642 per month. Now if we pop over to the Amazon print costs royalty calculator and put in the details of that particular book and the list price of $8.99, we can see that it's making an estimated royalty of $2.46 per sale. So 2,642 times by $2.46 gives us $6,499.32 per month, which is fantastic. So what we would do to make one of these books is we would go to BookBolt and we would go to Create. Click on BookBolt Studio and wait for that to open. Once BookBolt Studio is open, we're going to go to Project. We're going to select New Project. We're just going to do the interior. We can call it whatever you like, but I'm going to just call this Puzzle Book Test. And let's just, for the sake, do 40 pages just to show you how this works. It's 8.5 by 11, and we're going to go no bleed for this. So we're going to press Create Project, and BookBolt will go ahead and make us our 40 pages. So what we need to do now is we need to put the word searches on these particular pages. So what we need to do is just press this button here, which is the Page Templates button. And as you can see here, BookBolt has lots of different things that you can press at the top to give you a kind of interior. And what we're going to do is we're going to press the word puzzle button. And look, there's lots of different types of word puzzles that we can do, but the one that we want is word search standard. Now for this example, we are going to do 30 word searches. So we're going to select page 1 to 30. So the way we do this is just press select from. We're going to go page 1 up into page 30. So we've selected those 30 pages. The next thing is to continue to options. And this is where we're going to put in all the information about our word search. Now, we want 40 words per puzzle, which is what we want. We want them diagonal and we want them reverse words, of course. Now, we can decide where exactly we want the word search. So it could be top left near the spine, if we like, or we could just have it in the middle. Let's just try the middle for now and see how that works. You can change the fonts, you can change the line width. It's entirely up to you depending on what you like. Now I'm going to leave all these kind of as default and we can play with it later if it doesn't come out how we want. Now what we can do here for the solution is how many solutions do we want per page after the word searches. So I'm just going to keep it solutions per page as 4, okay? But you can change that if you like. So all of that is absolutely fine. Now, what we can do is we can have the first line of the word list that we're going to generate in a second is going to be our title. So we're going to keep that as is, okay? So what we need to do is we need to generate a word list. Now, what we can do is we can download an example file, which is a CSV file, and we need to populate that CSV file with some words for our word search. So let me just download this and show you what it looks like as an example. Right, so this is the example CSV file, and as you can see here, it's just a word list with a space to break up each word list, right? So this particular one is set up for 10 words in a word search, but we need 40, okay? So all we do is we've got 40 words and then we'd have a space, but the top word is going to be our title, okay? So what we're going to do is we are going to populate that with 30 word lists to make our 30 word searches for this video. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to go over to ChatGPT next. Right, so I'm on ChatGPT and I'm going to ask it to please generate 5 random 40-word word lists in columns with a title at the top of each list. Right, so it has arranged it into one massive column. So what we need to do is we need to copy this and paste it into our CSV file. So let me just copy that. Now the one adjustment that we need to make now that I've copied that into the CSV file is we need to remove this space here. So there needs to be a space between each actual word list, but not between the title. So let's delete this. Now you've probably noticed that we only did 5 there. Now we need 30. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy those 5 a few times so that we get them to 30 just for the example in this video. I've now created that massive list and I've saved it as YouTube example. Now all I need to do is upload that file into this particular blue box, which I now have done. The YouTube example is there. The next thing to do then is to continue to the solution pages, which is this button here. Now BookBolt has worked out that the solutions are going to be page 31 to 38, so we're just going to submit that. BookBolt will now take a few minutes to compile our word search book. And as you can see, we have got our titles at the top, we've got our 40 words in a word search, and we've got 3 columns of solutions. Now we can play around with this any which way we like to get it to look how we particularly want. Okay, so if you have a look at this little eye here, so as you can see we've got page 1 to 30 which is our actual word searches, and pages 31 to 38 which are the solutions. So this is what the solutions look like on page 38. Let me just zoom in so you can see a little bit better. Now you can play around with these variables to get it to look how you want, okay? And in this quick example, this is how it's looking so far. But as you play with the different variables, you can get it to look like you want. Right, the last thing to do then is just to export this into a PDF so that you can upload it to Amazon KDP. And the way that we do that is just by going to download and just download the current project. It's literally as simple as that. Now to use BookBolt to create word search puzzles or any other puzzles for that matter, it's going to cost $19.99 per month. But the really great thing is you can get a completely free 3-day trial to test it out, where you can go ahead and create as many of these word search puzzles as you like completely free for the first 3 days. I'm fairly certain you can get a few books up on Amazon KDP in that free period. But if you do start paying for it, it's well worth the money. You can do all your keyword research, all your product research on it. You can even do your covers. It's an all-encompassing software which will run your Amazon KDP business all for $19.99 a month, which is fantastic, isn't it? If you have any questions on how to make these sorts of books, then why don't you just leave me a comment below. I hope you found that video useful. If you did, leave it a like, and if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to the channel. And until next time, bye!